Hey guys, my name is Tal and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my channel is all about affordable housing, just helping you to get the process started, helping you while you're in the process, and even helping you once you move in so you can have all the information that you need. So today's video was actually I'm doing this video because of a comment that I read, and it's just been on my mind, so I decided to just do a brief video to talk about this, and it's very important. So if everyone could do me a favor and share this video with someone that you know, particularly someone that's living in an affordable housing, because you never know, they may need to hear this information. So let me just tell you briefly what the comment said so you could follow the concept of the video. So the comment, someone wrote that, you know, they lived in an affordable housing, they had a domestic violence situation, and they not abandoned, they didn't say abandoned, but they left the unit and they moved somewhere else, right? So that's the only information that I have. So part of this, I'm kind of like concluding to the additional details of what I think may have happened. But either way, whether it's how I'm thinking it may have happened or whichever way it is, you know, I want to talk about it. So this video could not only help that individual, but also help someone else who may be encountering the same situation, or who may be on the verge to making that decision, or who may know someone that's in this situation right now. So this is the reason why I really want you guys to share this video with anyone that you know that's living in affordable housing. So if you live in an affordable housing, you're covered by this act. It's called VAWA, VAWA. So it's Violence Against Women's Act. While it says violence against women, it does not only protect women, it protects men as well. So if you're a victim of domestic violence, dating violence, stalking, or sexual assault, you're covered under the said act. So what you need to do is, if you ever encountered any of those situations, if you feel as though, you know, your location is compromised to someone that may have been abusive to you, or, you know, someone is currently abusing you, what this act does, it pretty much allows the landlord to transfer you to a different location under the same program, whereas you would not have to go through, you know, a whole qualification again, right? And it really protects you as far as even expenses. Like, you won't incur as much expense as you would if you just got up and just move on your own. So if you know someone in this situation, or if you're in this situation, please never, the answer is never to just get up and leave the unit, right? While I understand what my thought is that this individual may not have known about this. So obviously you're in a domestic violence situation. Your first thing is that you have to change location. You just have to go. But you also have to, you know, find out about resources that could help you with domestic violence. There's a lot of resources that's in place, particularly for people that's in low-income housing program. Not only low-income housing program, but, you know, there's a lot of resources. So it's best to do this the safe and the right way. So even if you leave the apartment, not abandon it, but even if you leave the apartment and you're temporarily staying somewhere else, be in touch with your landlord and work through that process. And this is something that can happen. Like, this is something that's time sensitive. So depending on, you know, obviously if they're transferring you, they have to have like availability and so forth. But this is something that could be quick. This is not a long process, because everything has to be taken in consideration. There's cases where they could temporarily relocate you until they're able to permanently relocate you. So there's a lot of different benefits. So if you are ever in this situation, please contact your management office and find out about about VAWA, sorry. And what I want you to do after you watch this video, go online and read about VAWA so you could learn more and see all the resources that's there to help you because in my mind, the way I picture this situation is that this person may have encountered a domestic dispute, thinking safety, so they abandoned the unit, went to live somewhere else, may not have advised the landlord, so they're wondering if this is going to impact their chances in other affordable housing, right? So never, never, never do that, guys, because you have to remember also, you're still in a binding agreement. Once you sign a lease, you're still in a binding agreement with that landlord. So if you abandon the unit, up until they're cognizant of that, like, you're still financially responsible. And even though you move out, what they're going to do is put you in collection. So you don't want to have a bad situation and then end up having, on top of that, you just encounter this financial hardship to get out of this, to relocate yourself, and now having to be in collections and so forth. Like, you don't want to encounter that, and I don't want you to encounter that. So never, never abandon an affordable housing or any housing. Never, never abandon it. Always speak to the landlord, because there is repercussions, and obviously you don't want to get yourself in a financial, you don't want to be in a safety ditch and a financial ditch. So please Google Vawa, so you could learn more. A part of this, once I decided to talk about Vawa, I also want to talk about fair housing. So a lot of you guys may be living in an affordable housing and you don't know your rights. So on April 1st, all landlords for affordable housing should have sent out a correspondence advising residents of their rights for reasonable accommodation and reasonable modification. So particularly with not only, but particularly people with disability, at times there's a lot of people with disability living in affordable housing and they don't know their rights. There is certain things that you could request under a reasonable accommodation or a reasonable modification. So if you could please Google that to learn more. Some examples are, for example, if you're visually impaired, there's certain features on the door that you could request. If you're hearing impaired, there's certain features on the door that you could request to make your living experience better. If you need emotional support, and you live in a building that's not a pet friendly building, you still have the right to have a service or emotional support animal under reasonable accommodation. So I want you to read more about these things, because the purpose of you don't want to be in affordable housing and you're not happy, you're not comfortable. So learn more about these things that's beneficial and that could give you the ultimate living experience. And there are many others. If you're disabled or if you're elderly and you require, say, a grab bar in your bathroom, you can request that through the landlord. And they cover it, they pay for it. There's certain things, it's called reasonable, because your requests have to be reasonable, and it depending on the building, there's different programs. And this apply fair housing, what I'm talking about, Vawa, fair housing, as it applies to reasonable accommodation and reasonable modification, this is for both tax credit and Section 8. However, with Section 8, that's HUD, there's, depending on the funding of the building, will determine what if the landlord could cover that expense, or if the resident may have to cover that expense. But either way, you can make these requests and find out what's beneficial for you. Never just be somewhere. Don't incur the expense on yourself if you don't have to. Always reach out to the management office and learn about these things. So there's 3 things I want you to look up today. VAWA, the abbreviation is VAWA. That's as it pertains to domestic dispute, stalking, dating violence, sexual assault, right? I also want you to look up, particularly if you are elderly, disabled, I want you to look up reasonable accommodation and reasonable modification. Learn more about these things so that way you know your rights and you know what you can request, so that way you could enjoy the home that you live into. So I hope this information was beneficial. There's a lot, so obviously I can't break everything down, but there, if you look up this information, there's a lot of details, and I just want you to know the language. Once you know the language, you can reference this information online. But you have so much rights. A lot of people think because they're in affordable housing, they're so scared of everything. And I don't want you guys, my community, this community or community is not going to be scared, because you guys know more than the next person. So that's why I want you to share this information, because we are not going to suffer because of lack of knowledge, because whatever information I know, I'm going to pour it into you, but I want you to do your part and look it up. I want them to look at you like, how do you know about that? That's how you have to have them. Like, you have to educate yourself and be few steps ahead of them, because a lot of people, they just don't know. But I don't want that to be you. I want you to know. So whatever you encounter, you know exactly how to approach it. And also know that you have rights. I don't care if you're paying $400 for rent or if you're paying $11,000 or whatever you're paying. You have rights. So the purpose of me having this channel, I want you guys to feel empowered. I don't want, a lot of people, and I've seen it, so many people in affordable housing walking on eggshells because they're so scared of losing the housing. They don't want to ask for this. They don't want to do that because they think they could just kick them out. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. So please look up these terms that I just discussed, and I hope you found this information helpful, and please share this with someone, because I don't want anyone to, miss out on an opportunity, particularly even this young lady. I don't know, maybe she transferred and incurred a whole bunch of expense on herself that she didn't really need to, if she had gone through the Vawa channel, so they could transfer her in the system and alleviate some of that burden. Obviously, safety is the number one priority, but you also want to make sure that you exhaust the resources that's available to you. So I hope you found this information helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching these videos. And I know it's like not in order, but what I'm doing, literally, I'm meeting you guys where you are. So whatever I see in the comment section, and it's relevant for me to talk about because I believe it may help more people, I'm just going to do these videos on it. So if there's any questions that you have, any video requests that you have, leave it in the comment section. If you found this information helpful, give the video a thumbs up. Turn on the notifications so you can see when I post another video, and subscribe to the channel. And just continue being of good courage, guys. Continue doing your part, and just continue to just be of good courage in every aspect. Whether you're in the affordable housing, whether you're looking to get into one, wherever you are, just be positive, be of good courage, and know that everything is gonna work out in your favor. And just as a general tool in life, there's always resources available to help you. So before you make any decision, always do some research. Do some research to see what's the best route that you could go. I don't want anyone here to suffer because of lack of knowledge. So I'm pouring information out to you, and I hope that you find this information helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll be responding to your comments, and I'll be responding to the emails. I'm slowly but surely getting through them. So thank you, and have an amazing day.